Hey, everybody, it's Gene Martz, and thanks again for coming back and joining me on another episode of BizBooks. You're either listening to this or watching us on our YouTube channel, and I'm glad you're doing that. This is the channel where I interview every other week really smart, really great people that write really smart and great business books, books that I wouldn't normally read because I'm lazy, but because I'm doing this show, I'm forced to read a new one every other week, and it has definitely improved my life. This book has improved my life significantly. It's called Automate Your Busywork. Do less, achieve more, and save your brain for the big stuff. My guest today is Aytekin Tank. He is the founder and CEO of Jotform, Jotform, full disclosure, I've partnered and worked with them before. I'm a big fan, my customer of Jotform. So is my wife. She has a nonprofit and uses Jotform, tools and forms all the time. Aytekin, first of all, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Gene, for having me on BizBooks. I love your show as well.
Thank you. Yeah, this will be a fun conversation because it's all about productivity. And I want to, I've been through this book, backwards and forwards. I've got 9 pages of notes here, but we're not going to get to it all. But I do want to, ask you some specific questions about your strategy and your approach to productivity. But before we do, Aytekin, give us a little. I don't know you at all. I know Jotform so well. Give me, if you can, tell me a little bit about yourself, how you came to find, start Jotform, and why you came to write this book.
So I was working as a developer in New York for a media company around like the beginning of 2000, between 2000 and 2005. And as a developer, I was constantly given this task of creating online forms. Like I was creating this survey, contact forms, payment forms, questionnaires, and I really didn't like it much. Like I wanted to find a way to find a product that can actually take it over from me. Like I wanted to find a product, but I couldn't find a product. And that's actually how I came up with the idea for Jotform. And I automated creation of forms. So I quit my job. I started Jotform, and it turned out a lot of people also needed to automate their forms. But what I found out was it's not just the forms. Forms are actually just the first step in a journey. So people actually have a lot of business, operations, business communications, processes, and they need to automate those things. So I was helping them automate creation of their forms, but not just, I wasn't stopping there. I was helping them, automate the creation of emails, like triggered emails, or document generation, all the other step up there, they're like transferring the data to other providers, like, other products, and creation of reports like spreadsheets. So like people had a lot of needs, and I was answering them with Jotform. And and I can also, talk about the book if you would like.
Please, yeah. So
how the book came out.
Yeah, how did it come out? I mean, I kind of feel like doing what you do and running a company like Jotform, you probably have had a lot of thoughts over the years of saying, I've learned so much about automation. I got to put it down on, in writing. Is that that sort of what happened? Yeah.
So here's what happened. So I started Jotform, and it was going well, and people, loved it, and it was growing. But like around 3-4 years into Jotform, I was spend all my day with busy work from morning to night. I was answering emails, I was doing support, I was dealing with all the things like, accounting, legal, HR, ordering office supplies. So I was doing all these things, and I didn't have time to really work on important things.
Sure.
Like how to, grow my business, grow Jotform, how to, make the product better. And right at this moment, Google actually came up with a competing product. Google Forms came out, and I thought, okay, if I'm gonna spend all my day with busy work, and this is actually small business or startup 101, right?
Sure.
You want to work on your business, not in your business. And I was working the mid book. And so I was actually spend all my time in my business as opposed to on my business, improving my business. So I thought to myself, here I am helping people automate their businesses, automate their processes, and I'm doing everything manually. Like I'm spending all my day in emails. And so I decided, okay, I need to figure out a way to really automate things. And that's how I started really thinking about automation in my own business. So, we started using Jotform more within our business. We started automating more and more things, like we streamlined and automated our product development, for example, how our teams work, and we streamlined and automated our how we do support, how we do marketing, like many things in our business. We were able to automate things, and this allowed me to have more time on really improving the product and improving the growing the business. And so, for example, one of the things that I was spending all my day was emails. Like I'm receiving so many emails, right? But I was just looking at my inbox, like hundreds of emails, like I'm getting lost in my emails. So yeah, I was spending so much time cleaning my emails. So I tried to find a product that can help me with this email problem, but like I tried like 10 different products, nothing worked. Some of them were like, they were saying AI wasn't that powerful, back then, but
Right.
still people were saying like we are using AI and stuff like that, but nothing really worked. And over the years, like I kept looking for a good solution, but I couldn't find anything as well. But while I was looking for those solutions, I kind of thought, hey, I understood what I was looking for. Like what I really looking for was like priority. I wanted to prioritize my emails.
Sure.
Like I don't want to look at my email inbox with all the like sales emails, like all the like newsletters or spam. When I open my emails, I want to look at the like top high priority email.
Sure.
And I just want to look at one email and
Right.
then just process. Then I want to go to the next email. And I thought, okay, I could actually do this using Gmail, because we are using Gmail for our business. So even though it's our domain, jotform.com, we are using Gmail in the backend. And so Gmail actually has two features, labels and filters. So I was able to actually build an automation just using these and be able to and browser bookmarks. And I was able to basically solve my own problem using Gmail. And what I did was I created 3 labels: level 1, level 2, level 3. And I created filters so that if an important email arrives, it goes to the top high priority emails, go to level 1. And people who I communicate with, if they send me a direct email, that goes to my level 2. And all the other emails that I care about goes to level 3. And all the emails that doesn't fit into one of these criteria, they just drop in my email inbox. And I'm using browser bookmarks so that when I click on level 1 bookmark, I will just see the top high important
Right.
top priority emails. Like my publisher is Wiley. If someone from Wiley sends me email, so I set this filter. If someone from Wiley.com domain sends me an email, it goes to my level 1.
Of
So
course.
this is great because like between meetings, if I have like very little time, I can just look at my top priority email and I can process them. So I don't have to. It's not just about like spend all day in emails. It's also about like feeling a sense of not being stressed about like if I miss something.
Sure.
And that was really helpful for me, that solution. And while I was doing all these automations, I developed a kind of a framework, and I call that the automation flywheel framework now.
Yep.
When I started writing the book, I figured that out. But yeah, I talk about that framework and I give a lot of examples in the book. And that's how the book came out, because I needed to solve my own problem of busy work. And I want to share what I learned while I was solving my own busy work problem with the world.
So let's dive into that operation, the automation flywheel that you have, right? I mean, it's you dig into it in detail in the book. You've got this wheel where it, you have dividing and conquering the problem, and designing and implementing the problem, and refining and iterate the problem, and then you've got all sort of like tasks around it, workflows and automations and systems. Can you, it's obviously we can dig into the details by reading the book, but I'm wondering if you can give us sort of a 30,000-foot overview of what this automation flywheel is and why it's so important for somebody who wants to automate, tasks that's making them unproductive.
Sure. So the automation flywheel is obviously it's a flywheel. So it starts slowly, but it gains momentum and helps you not lose energy. It's a process of continuous improvement. It's not just something you do once. It's not a project you do, for 3 months and then, hey, everything is automated, let's stop doing this. It's a process of automation, continuous improvement, and it has 3 steps: divide and conquer, design and implement, and refine and iterate. So on the first step, divide and conquer is about understanding how you are spending your time and really understanding your workflows. And so how do you understand how you spend your time on? Like
and
one of the tools I recommend.
And if I could just say, like, it's not just understanding your workflows, but it's mapping it out in advance, right? Like, you can't, you're big in this book by emphasizing that until you figure out what you want to automate, you can't automate. You don't just say automate, right? You have to know what you want to do, and then you have to map it out.
Yeah, that's the thing about Busywork. It's just, there's just so many things going on. It's very confusing. It's like my email inbox before, like there's just, thousands of emails, and it's just easy to get like demoralized, and like, you think that there's no solution for it. But once you actually really dig into it, like really look into like what's going on, once you take the time, you can actually see what's going on. And that's one of the tools I recommend in the book, which I call the time audit. So what you can do is, like, you can use your phone on your phone's clock app to like set alarms every hour. So every top of the hour, you have a spreadsheet and you put down like how you spend your last hour with. And like, you don't have to really enter like every single minute, but you can actually spend like most of that hour was spent by, doing this or doing that. So at the end of the week, you have this spreadsheet full of your like a map of how you spend your time on.
Sure.
And then what you do is you ask yourself 2 questions. What should I spend my time on? And what shouldn't I spend my time on? And the second question is more important, because really, like, those things that you are spending your time on that you shouldn't be spending your time on are things that sap your energy, sap your time. It's just like, if you could like get rid of them, like, you can actually spend more of your time on things that matter.
Sure.
And sometimes we procrastinate, like we don't want to actually spend our time on important things, because we know that it's going to be hard. Like there could be like big problems in our business or like whatever we are doing. So it's easier to just waste our time with things that doesn't matter, because it's just kind of a procrastination. But sometimes it's just like, we just feel like, we have to spend our time. The Eisenhower matrix is like important things and urgent things, a matrix of importance and urgency. And it's just very easy to spend your time on things that are urgent. And even though urgent and unimportant, I mean, if something is urgent and important, you really have to like focus and fix that. Like it's very straightforward. So there's no problem with that. But the problem is, we are spending a lot of our time with time sensitive things. Like someone is writing us like a texting us, or someone is like writing us on a chat, like Slack room. And we are wasting like so much time on these discussions that can happen like much more easily on email, on async communication, like on a form or something. So once we ask those questions, what shouldn't I spend my time on, which is the most important question, that we can categorize those like those, like how we spent that week, last week, based on that. And then this gives us a map of where we should start automating. The
Okay.
other thing is, sometimes it's not just a single time task, like workflows. They are not like single time tasks. Like they are like, sometimes we wait for other people. Sometimes we have to make a request from someone else. We are waiting for an email. It's just, if it was something like I could just start and finish, and that's much easier to automate, or that's much easier to do as well, like streamline. But many times it's a team effort,
Sure.
or sometimes you are waiting for a client.
Sure.
So all those like workflows, it's important that you kind of draw those workflows. So on a pen and paper, you could just draw them as a flow chart. You can create like a workflow diagram, and I describe how to do that in the book. But once you map those out, it's just much easier, because even if you don't do any automations, even if you just do these two exercises, like the time audit and workflow diagrams, you're gonna actually save a lot of time, because you're gonna figure out, okay, I'm wasting all my time with this. Like there's this simple solution I could use.
Sure.
Or you're gonna find ways to streamline your workflows,
Sure.
because it's just very like you are just constantly on a treadmill, that you never find an opportunity to kind of streamline them. But once you like create those charts, like you see, okay, why am I doing this? Like I could just get rid of this step, or I could just delegate this to someone else. I could delegate this to the machine, which is the automation. I could delegate it to automation. So this is the first step in the automation flywheel.
And I'm gonna interrupt you there
Yeah.
and just say that for starters, I know you're a hater of to-do lists. At least that's that was sort of my takeaway from what you're writing. And meanwhile, so you would hate me because I've got literally we sell CRM systems. We use Zoho for our CRM, so I've got a whole bunch of tasks in my CRM. And then Aytekin, I literally this is like a composition book from like ninth grade, and my to-dos, like this is in addition to what I've got on. So as I'm reading your book, I'm saying to myself, like, Jesus, I am just fucking wasting so much of my time with these lists and the activity lists and whatever, that if I actually took the time to invest in mapping out what I'm doing, I can actually see where I'm wasting my time and then make some decisions how I want to automate that. And that was my biggest takeaway. And I'm assuming that's what you want a reader to take away as well, to take a deep breath and look at what they're doing, because that's the first step, right?
I'm not really against the to-do lists. What I am against is creating the same to-do list all the time.
You
right?
say trash your to-do lists.
So, I mean, if you can actually if you can have a to-do list, and if you are creating the same to-do list all the time,
yeah.
So why don't you take the next step and then turn those to-do lists into kind of automations, and get rid of them, right? Delegate them to the machine.
Yes.
I think that's the idea. I think definitely to-do lists are important, and I think they are great solution. But I think they are just like, we shouldn't stop there. Like we shouldn't just stop creating with the to-do list. We should go to the next step and build systems as opposed to like to-do lists. And that's what I'm talking about in the book. Yeah.
No doubt. So, okay. So let's say we've gone through, so we're still in the automation flywheel. And the reason why I wanted to really focus on this is because it's the core of your book. I mean, so everything you write about is based on this strategy. And so we've divided and we've conquered. In other words, we've seen what needs to be, what tasks, what busy work we're doing needs to be automated. Then you have a whole second phase where you talk about designing and implementing automation here, and that uses workflows. And one thing that always confused me, which you do write about, and I wanted to ask you to talk about, is how you differentiate workflows between from business processes. What is the difference between the two?
I think workflows are also part of business processes.
Okay.
So when we talk about like business processes, business process management or optimization, we are really talking about all the workflows. So like we don't have a single workflow, but what's happening is that when you have a business process, it can involve multiple workflows.
Right.
So if you try to like just create business processes instead of workflows, the problem is like it can become too complex. We don't want to go too complex. That's why I think it's just taking a smaller bite
I see.
and creating workflow diagrams is probably a better step.
I see.
But I mean, when you create all these workflow diagrams, and it's not just for you individually, it's for your company. What's happening is that you're actually creating those business. You're also documenting your business processes, and you're then optimizing those business processes. And so, yeah, I think they are the similar ideas, but I would put business processes in a higher levels.
Fine. Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. So tell us about designing and implementing these workflows. Automating.
So yeah, so the first step was the divide and conquer. Understand how you spend your time, like what kind of workflows you do, and on the second step, you are designing and implementing automations. And so now that you have all these workflow diagrams, you can actually start mapping out your automations, and you can decide like how you're gonna automate your busy work. But you cannot do that by just like thinking about it. I think you have to take a step. Like you need to save time to you need to make time to save time.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to take the time. You need to like time box to do a research, which is what I did when I was giving the email example. Like I tried like 10 different products, and when I was trying all these products, like they all had like these negative and positive sides. But I actually it actually became like it became much more clearer for me what kind of automation, what kind of system I need to build when I tried those products, because I'm trying something and it doesn't work, and I'm asking myself why this doesn't work, because it doesn't have this feature, because it doesn't it cannot do this for me. So I think it's very important that you take the time to research available products, and I recommend like websites like g2.com, and you can go to g2.com, and we are in a great age. I think we are in the middle of three revolutions. The first one is software is eating the world, and this was said by Mark Andreessen like more than a decade ago. And basically everything is turning into software. Cars are turning into software, vacuum cleaners, like travel agents. In the past, we would go to a travel agent, tell them like what we want to do. And today we do everything ourselves. Like we kind of do more, we do a lot of research, but we have so much freedom. Like we have so many options now. The second revolution is the no-code revolution. And when I say no-code, I don't want to just limit it to the products that call themselves no-code products. I think many of the products you see on gt.com are actual no-code products. Even the Gmail examples I give, like how those filters and all those labels, you are building your own solutions. No-code products allow you to build your own solutions. And Jotform is also an example to no-code, because you can create your own solutions, and we provide all the tools for you to do that. So there are like we didn't have that like 20 years ago. Maybe 10 years ago we had more, but today we have many more. Like whatever you want to do as a business, that there are just so many options. Like in the past, there was like products like SAP, and only big companies would go there and they would spend like millions of dollars, and they would completely automate their business, like change everything. But today, like small businesses have that, like they have all these no-code products that they can automate things, and these products are flexible, and many of them are like they have low prices, they have like free versions. Jotform has free version, and people can come and use the product, and they get and for a very small usage, most of our users don't actually pay us, like because free version is enough for us. But at some point they use it so much that they start paying. So it's a win-win. Even free users are a win for us, because at some point they're gonna become paid users.
I do want to add in that in your book, and for those of you guys that are watching and listening, Aytekin includes just a bunch of a whole section of tools that he recommends and use for all sorts of different uses. Some of them are low code, some of them are no code. You make frequent mention of tools like Zapier, for example, and Workato. And to get back to your point earlier of, it used to be if you wanted to integrate applications together to automate something, you'd have to call in an outside developer and they charge you an arm and a leg, and they sneeze and something breaks, and you couldn't get it supported. Now there are these tools, and Jotform comes with all of this out of the box, and there's tools like Zapier, Workato, and others that they're connectors, and they help automate by synchronizing information between all sorts of systems. So it is a different world. I mean, I don't know how old you are, Aytekin, but like I'm in my 50s, so I remember just what a pain in the neck it was to do any of this automation even 15 years ago. And now all you have to do is ask and do a little bit of research, I guess. Power Automate, by the way, is another good set of tools from Microsoft.
Yeah, products like Zapier and make it easy for you to actually connect these products with each other. So the automation solutions you are building, you don't have to like just pick one product and like build all your automations there. You can use like so many products, like when you use Google Calendar, you can also use Calendly. You can even Jotform integrates with Google Calendar. That whatever you do, you can actually connect with it. Like all these products connecting with each other just makes them so much powerful. And I think
what's fascinating about that,
becoming more powerful than products like SAP, because each product is really focusing on what they are good at. So it's like they provide so many options.
Well, it's funny that because it used to be back in the day, clients would ask me, can't I just have one application that does it all? And some software developers tried to do just that. And then they realized that it's a very, very set of specific expertise to create a CRM system versus an ERP system versus a project management system. So now these connectors are coming, have become so popular. And it's all because of the cloud, isn't it? I mean, again, when I first started, everything was client server. So you have databases and, and client devices, computers, laptops, PCs connected to them. You needed to make any integrations or connectivity changes. It was a major, major thing. Now, because everything is cloud-based, a lot of these systems are much more easier to integrate together. The takeaway is, you're dividing and conquer. You choose what you want, what you want to automate. You start designing and implementing what you want to automate as well. Just know that there are countless tools out there to help you accomplish this automation. I mean, again, Aytekin mentions a bunch of them in his book, but it's something that you shouldn't be hitting any brick walls when it comes to connecting your applications with others or creating automation. It's not a developer's world so much anymore. So you talked about those two things, right? We talked about software eating the world, and now the sort of the connectivity. What's the third?
And the third revolution is gonna make these two revolutions even like it's gonna it's multiplying these revolutions, because
I think I know what's coming.
you can guess, right? It's the AI revolution.
Yeah.
And what AI makes it, all these like software and the SaaS cloud products even more powerful, because AI makes them more capable, flexible, and smart. So every product, when they start to use AI, they're going to get much more flexible. So the number of use cases are going to increase. And it's just the amazing, like we are not seeing that right now, but 5 or 10 years from now, it's going to change everything like so much. Like I'm really excited about it.
And I have to ask you about that. And this does dovetail into what you write about automation and being more productive. But even at Jotform, right? I mean, Aytekin, you guys, as a productivity tools platform, I am assuming that you are spending a lot of time right now digging deeply into AI, Chat GPT, Auto GPT. conversational AI bots. You're going to be building a lot of this stuff into future versions of your platform. So, because I tell my clients, they ask like, "Oh, I want to automate, and should I be creating my own AI?" And my feeling is, well, just if you can be a little patient, a lot of the platforms that you rely on, like Jotform, they're going to have this built in. That's what these guys are doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think the important word is built in. So
Yeah.
like we could just add like a chat GPT interface to like Jotform, say like, enter what you want to create.
Mm.
Okay, you can do that. But I think, it's kind of similar to like, what if Tesla just had like a, AI assistant that said, hey, what do you want to do? I mean, I'm sure it has. I don't have a Tesla, but the real value of AI is coming from when the AI is used in the core
Yes.
functionality, which is like self-driving car.
Yes.
So it's not
Yes.
just about like adding it as an add-on, but it's actually adding the AI as a core function to the product. And I don't think we found it, but we are looking for that in Jotform as well. Like, how can we make it as a core part of our product offering, AI? And I think all of the products, all the SaaS products are probably asking the same question themselves, because now we are seeing like what AI can do. Like we are trying ChatGPT. For me, like for example, ChatGPT replace Google for many things. Like when I need to research about something, I go less and less to Google and
Yep.
more and more to ChatGPT,
Yep.
and it will give me direct answer. I don't have to like sort through 10 different web pages.
Yep.
That it gives me an answer.
Yep.
So it's AI is really exciting, and I feel like in the book I give a lot of examples, but in 10 years, most of the examples are not going to be very useful because like everything is going to change because of AI.
I
But
was just
what
gonna
I'm
say
hoping
that.
for, and I'm actually pretty sure about that, is the core, like this automation flywheel, and the core, the automation first mindset, the core ideas in the book is going to be like 10 times more useful because now they're going to be much more possible because of the AI edition. Yeah.
Right. It's funny you give the example of Tesla as well, with AI. And I think, and this is I have all these things I'm writing about with Chat GPT and AI, but one of the things at the top of my list is that we've heard all these things over the past few years about, IoT and Internet of Things. And to me, it's going to be AI of things, right? I mean, ultimately, AI will mature where it is able to drive cars and able to fly planes and able to operate machinery, in factories, because it's software, and it will just,
Exactly.
the more it gets trained, the more it will learn, the more it will be able to do that stuff. And I realize there are some scary implications of that, but at the same time, I think back to your automation flywheel, it still needs, if you're trying to automate something, humans still need to decide what they want to automate, how they want to automate it. It's just that AI will make it so much easier to implement that automation, right?
Exactly. I mean, I feel like I'm also old. I'm 45, and I remember the time internet came out.
Yeah,
So
you're dating
so
yourself.
I remember the times where we didn't have internet, and I feel like with AI right now we are at that, like, between the period between like
Yep.
1995
Yep.
to 2000,
Yep.
where there's just, we could see like there is just so many possibilities, but it wasn't right here, right? It wasn't right. There was some good examples, but it wasn't as common as how internet is everywhere today. So, AI is going to be like that as well. Like, this show is going to be like 10 years from now. Maybe when they watch it, people are going to think that, yeah, wow, they were in such an old ages.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's no doubt about it. I mean, you're right. This conversation is going to be quickly outdated. Your book, although, the concepts of it will always be core and always be true. I foresee many updated versions of your book as you start conforming it to all the new tools. And what makes me laugh is that, again, you go to great pains to list out all the different applications and tools that are available right now. And I'm really curious to see what that list looks like, years from now. Let me ask you, I know we don't have that much time left, and I have so many more questions to ask you. I wanted to just kind of ask you to elaborate on some of the concepts that you talk about, or at least allude to in your book. One of the things you talk about is the Eisenhower matrix, which caught my attention. Can you tell us what you mean by that and why it's important for
Sure.
automating?
So the Eisenhower matrix is a matrix, like you put the importance on one one line, and then you put the urgency on another. And the problem is we are actually spending so much of our times on things that are urgent but not important, like things that are time sensitive, because we are bombarded with constant notifications, constant things to do, and people expect us to really answer them very quickly. I think it's important that we change those expectations. So, for example, I always turn off all my notifications. My phone is always on silence. I turn off all notifications on my phone and on my computer as well. Like even like on the chat, company-wide chat, it's always on silence, and I will check it time to time. Same with emails. I check my emails when I want to check it, and I start with the high priority things. So it's important that, it's important to make sure that you are not constantly trying to do urgent and non-important things. So but there are things that are urgent and important, and those are really important. Of course, you have to take care of them quickly, but there are not many things like that. It's actually most of our time is with spend things that are time sensitive but not important.
Okay.
And but here's the thing: the most important cell in that matrix is the non-urgent but important things. So and those things don't get the time they deserve. So, for example, for me, when I wake up, I send my kids to school, and then I will go to gym, and I will spend an hour at the gym, and I will take a shower, and I will have my coffee ready, and I will sit down in front of my computer. And here's two ways that I can take. I can actually check my emails, like do all the busy. I can log into the bank and check things, and I could do all the busy work on that things that are not that important. Or I could just time box, and that's what I do. Like from 9 to noon every day, like those 3 hours are my the best times of my mind. Like I'm very, very clear. I'm creative. I feel very energized. Like I can be very creative at those times, and I want to use those times for important things. And it could be a strategy for our product. It could be the book, working on an idea in the book. So it's really important for me to time box that. And and in the afternoon, I'm usually like, I feel tired. I don't feel that creative. And it's not like those times I can spend processing my emails, answering people. I can use those times for less important things, but it's important that every day we time box those important times. And this also applies to automations as well, because the more we can automate, the more we are going to be able to spend more of our times on the things that are really important.
I love that message. And, and again, I do the same thing as you. I tend to block out times or certain parts of the day. I think we're all the same way, that we work better than others. I think it's important to be honest with yourself and say, like, I know this is an issue, but I'm not at my best to deal with that issue right now. So I'm going to have to take a deep breath and table it and attack it at 7 a.m. tomorrow when I know I'm way more alert and, my mind is better. So we have to be honest with ourselves on that. Um, Aytekin, let me ask you, you tell a story in the book, which I think is really, and this is sort of like as a final takeaway. And I think it is enticement for people to read this book. You tell the story about when you had the birth of your second child. Here you are running this company. It's a huge responsibility. I mean, Jotform is a it's a well-known company. I know you got a lot of stuff you have to deal with, but you really wanted to take time off, like a 3-month parental leave. So a lot of people watching and listening to this have similar goals. And maybe it's not parental leave, but maybe it's just, how do I actually apply some of these principles real life? And I think you did. So I wonder if you could just share with our listeners and viewers, how did you use some of these productivity and automation concepts to accommodate, as CEO, you leaving the business for 3 months to be with your family?
I'm actually doing that again because I just had my third child.
Oh,
So
congratulations.
that was like 4 months ago.
Oh,
And
sorry to hear
I'm
that.
actually
I know. I
at
mean,
home.
congratulations.
That's why I'm actually at home right now. And I'm actually taking even longer this time. And I really believe in spending time with the family, and so, but this requires the having the mindset to be able to delegate things. And so, like, for me, on my second child, when I did that, I think one of the things that allowed me to was my I didn't have a COO, Chief Operating Officer, so I promoted one of our top managers to that position,
Okay.
and then took the time to delegate meetings. And I also automated more and more things in my business, and use the techniques that I described in the automation flywheel and automation first mindset to be able to accomplish that. Some people might feel like, oh, he is the CEO, so he can actually delegate things to other people. But I think it's not just for high level. In fact, one of the things I found out was actually when the higher you go, the amount of work you do and is increases, and the variety of different things you have to take care of increases. So I think it's important that even if you are not like a high level manager, even if you are an individual contributor, if you set expectations with other people, if you go and tell people, okay, on these days, I'm just focusing on this. Like, if let's say you're a developer, and I don't do meetings on these days. Like, I just focus on this. I need to work on this creative process. If you set expectations, if you silence your notifications and tell people about it, like, be open about it, like, I'm silencing my notifications, but if there's something comes up, just call me or something. Yeah, people are understanding, actually. So it's just people appreciate that. And it's important to, of course, as a company, you also need to support that kind of mindset. But I think it's important to have that kind of make it clear to other people. And in my case, to be able to take a very long time, I had to start earlier. Like, I had to really assume that if I'm not here, what's going to happen about this? Like, how can we automate this process? How can we delegate it to someone else, or delegate it to the machine? And how can we do without this meeting? And that kind of preparation is kind of needed for taking time like that. But yeah, that actually helps a lot, because once you do that, when you return back to work, you are actually the stuff you automated is
Yep.
not coming back. So you can actually take the time to work on more important things.
Or to have more children.
Yeah.
Now that you've kind of set the stage. Aytekin,
exactly.
Aytekin Tank is the founder and CEO of Jotform. He is also the author of Automate Your Busywork, Do Less, Achieve More, and Save Your Brain for the Big Stuff. This is a playbook for anybody that is looking to increase their productivity and leverage existing technology that's out there. I'm sure that there will be future versions of this book that will be talking about new technologies like AI that will also help us to make our lives more balanced, because that's what it's all about. Aytekin, thank you so much for spending the time with me. It's a great book and you're just doing great work. And I want to thank you.
Thank you, Gene. I love your show, and thank you for having me on your show.
It was a pleasure. And everyone, thank you so much for watching and listening to BizBooks. My name is Gene Marks. I will be back again in 2 more weeks with another smart, well, probably not as smart as Aytekin, but pretty smart person, an author writing a great business book that I know will interest all of us. So we will see you then. Thanks a lot for watching and listening. Take care.